Martine, the artist behind Martine's fine art. This video is part 2 of the comparison of Polychromos from Faber-Castell and the Pablos from Caran on drafting film. If you haven't seen the first part, maybe it's best to watch that one first. In this part I will focus mainly on the Pablos from Caran, and like I said in part 1, my conclusions apply to these pencils on drafting film, and definitely not to other surfaces. The first thing I thought when I opened the box of Pablos a few weeks ago was that they had a beautiful color selection. The colors are slightly more natural than the Polychromos. I looked directly at the softer tones of the blues, the greens, because I miss them in the Polychromos. And they were in the box. And a beautiful selection of browns too. But it lacked the deep dark brown I always pull out from my luminance box, the Castle Earth or Sepia. So that's the same as with the Polychromos. But there was a beautiful light blue named Bluish Pale, and that was a color I missed in all of the boxes, even in the luminance. Prismacolor has one, Sky Blue Light, and I sometimes even pull out that one. One of my favorite colors in the Faber-Castell box is a dark indigo. I often use it to darken colors or in the shades. I'm quite sure this one is in almost every drawing I make. I'm glad they sell them in open stock. But the indigo in the Pablos was more a kind of a purple, a more reddish kind of hue. Talking about open stock, both of the brands can be bought here in open stock. I think this is one of the absolute requirements when you buy yourself a really expensive box of artist pencils. The Pablos are more expensive here in the Netherlands. I searched on the internet for information about them and found some confusing information. Some people said the pencils are oil-based, some wax-based. But Caran self-told the Pablos are wax-based, so that's the first main difference from the Polychromos. The light fastness is quite okay. On the barrel of the pencil there's a star rating of the light fastness. There are a couple of colors less light fast, but that's the same with the Polychromos. Well, the Pablos can be sharpened to a really nice point without breaking issues. They have good blending and layering possibilities, just like the Polychromos. So let's move on to this project of Charlie, the cat of my artistic friend, and see how they performed on the drafting film. As always, I started with the eye. The first thing I noticed that it was far more difficult to get even coverage with the Pablos compared to the Polychromos, and the layering process was more difficult. Drafting film does not have much tooth, and the first color saturated this tooth almost totally within the first layer. So I did not have enough of the tooth left to adjust colors, put in the lighter or darker spots, or get in the right shading. I really had to erase the complete eye and start over again with an even lighter hand. For the hairs this wasn't much of a problem, and when I colored the nose I was more prepared to this factor. As always with fur, I painted in the lighter hairs on top of the darker ones with a magical mixture of titanium white powder with touch-up texture. The mixture is very white when you apply it, but when it dries this will be a little less prominent. You can color over it and repeat that process to get a realistic thick fur. As all colored pencils artists know, it is a slow medium, and so was this drawing. It took me about 40 hours. Working with colored pencils is fun, and the main reason to work with them is enjoying the process. If you're going for fast results, colored pencil isn't the right medium for you. So now I know I prefer the Polychromos on the drafting film. They don't saturate the tooth as fast as the Pablos, so I had more tooth left to adjust my colors. And it was a little easier to get even coverage on certain parts when I had to. And there was another point I didn't like on the drawing with the Pablos. I'm not sure if you can see it, I tried to film it. There is a kind of sheen on the drawing. You can't see it when you're standing just right in front of the drawing, but when you're looking at it from the side, you will notice this. The Polychromos drawings don't have this issue. I think this is wax. So don't think the Pablos aren't any good. They are beautiful pencils. On the UArt I love them for the details. But on the drafting film the Polychromos are the winner in my opinion. I promised I would reveal how I made the background. I have a great digital drawing app on my iPad named Procreate. I imported my drawing in this app and then I made my background on a separate layer using digital airbrush. I imported the drawing because I wanted to see where I wanted my darks and lights. Then I blurred the whole digital airbrush project a little, removed the layer of the cat and printed this with my laser printer. I had to adjust the digital drawing a few times. So actually this is a mixed media piece in all ways. So that's it for now. In the upcoming videos I will review Eliona Nicholson's new book Colored Pencil Painting Portraits. And in another upcoming video I will explain the layering process on drafting film. So, if you don't want to miss any of this, please subscribe, and if you like this video, please let me know. Post your questions below, and of course have fun drawing yourself. Have a nice day.